room next door to all three arrestees who were staying in room 112. Further, Mr. Booker is a convicted felon for Schedule
Welcome
6,
to Law Talk with Mike.
which prohibits him from possessing a firearm. This occurred in Knox County, Tennessee.
We're having coffee, watching a call.
Rights I need to go over. The first is that you have the right to remain silent. No one can force you to make any statements. Any that you make voluntarily can be used against you. You have the right to an attorney. If you cannot afford one, I can appoint one for you. And you have the right to a preliminary hearing, that is a probable cause hearing, where the judge will hear the evidence against you and decide whether this case is strong enough to be bound over the grand jury for further prosecution. You understand those rights?
Yes, sir.
Would you like me to appoint an attorney?
Can you call Julia B. Newton? That's my lawyer.
That's your hired attorney?
Yeah.
You'd have to call her.
Oh, okay, cool. Okay.
So are you going to hire her for this?
Yeah, I just got to find a way, like, to get her phone number in here, but yeah.
Okay.
I can get it, though.
All right. Well, I need to ask you some questions on oath to make sure you qualify, or excuse me, not qualify, to make sure that.
Hello, everybody.
So you raise your right hand, be sworn in. You swear, affirm, tell the truth.
You just
truth, nothing but truth.
populated the chat all at once. Thanks for coming by.
Yes, sir.
Where do you work?
Accuracy Boxing Company.
How much do you make?
Veterans Day here in the United States.
Property, house, or car.
Send out a big thank you to all those who served.
Other forms of income or of assets?
Excuse me?
The other forms of income or assets?
I don't think so.
For anybody that would vouch for your liability to show up in court?
Yes.
Who would that be?
My mother, Angela Booker.
I wasn't going to do this, but they started reading the charges of this guy. It got pretty spicy. Of course, as soon as I turned the stream on, they stopped talking. Yep, the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month. Oh, don't even say that to me. Or you'll have Law Talk and Mike in Colorado. Is anybody open yet? It's usually A-Basin and Loveland having that fight. Hi, Letha May. Yeah. We can let go of the arm for a little bit here. Ooh. I've done some skiing in Utah. I'm not gonna lie, it's good stuff.
Okay, I'm going to set the bond on the 2E felonies. That's the Schedule 5 and the Schedule 6 at $2,500 each. Then I'm going to set it on the B felony at $30,000. And then on the possession of the firearm with intent to go armed at $2,500. That's a D felony. And then on the possession of the weapon by convicted felon, I'm set it at $3,000. And then I'm ROR the paraphernalia. I'm not sure exactly how much that is. It's $5,000.
Thank you, Gunslinger.
500, 6,000, 8, 38. Looks like 40,500 is the total. And I'm gonna set this in felony court
I've never skied out east.
on
I wouldn't know.
Tuesday. That's November 15th for a bond review. So if you're unable to post those bonds, the judge can consider reducing them at that time. If you do post them, they'll give you a different court date to go to when you're being released.
The Philippines
Go to
is
that one
here
instead.
to watch a guy in Chicago.
And as soon as that's done, actually, I think that's it. I believe that's all we have.
Watch Jail Court in Tennessee. I love it.
I'm
The
good.
beauty of YouTube.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Taylor.
I have never skied in Ohio. Michigan, Wisconsin, Illinois, believe it or not. I've been skiing in Illinois. It sucked, but I did it. I went to places right on the river. It might have even been Iowa. I don't know. It wasn't good. But Colorado, California, Utah, Nevada. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And of course, British Columbia. Good stuff. And the
I'll be
Alps.
right with you. Just take a few minutes to fill out.
Yeah, I would. That would be my guess. That would be my guess. It's just, you know, they just don't have the hills or the climate for it. But I get it. You patch together something that's passable if you need to get your ski on, and you're in the Midwest and you're desperate. Judge, this is no way to get yourself a playlist on Law Talk with Mike. We need to move this call faster. Of course, it does give me. Ooh, I want to do that. I've never skied in Idaho, but yeah, obviously, I'd like to. Was it Sun Valley? Yeah, I'm all about it. That's on my list. That, and I kept saying it because we were doing the New Mexico Trail, but Taos. Those
your
are
name?
up there.
Taylor.
Whistler is fantastic. Fantastic. Snow's a little wet in my experience because it's coming right off the Pacific, but
Okay, Mr. Taylor, you've been charged
beautiful,
with drug
beautiful place.
paraphernalia. That'd be a Class A misdemeanor. And you've been charged with criminal trespass. That would be a Class C misdemeanor. You understand what you're charged with?
Yes, sir.
Would you like me to read the allegations?
Absolutely. Thank you, Nigel.
No, sir.
Okay, if you cannot afford an attorney, I can appoint one. Would you like me to do that?
Yes.
Okay, I need to ask you some questions on oath. Make sure you qualify, as well as to set your bond. So you raise your right hand and be sworn in. This is the uniform affidavit of indigency that you filled out of the jail. You swear or affirm that everything you filled out on this form, any testimony you give is true and accurate.
That's my best ability, yes.
Thank you. You have a job,
No.
your property, house, or car that you own.
I mean, not to my knowledge, it's verified.
Any other forms of income or of assets.
No.
You live in Knoxville.
Yes.
How long you lived here?
Here.
You have family here?
No.
And is there anybody that would vouch for your liability to show up in court?
I don't know. I don't like to
Take that as a no.
I'll be there. I ain't missing it.
Okay, I'm gonna set the bond on the trespass at $250, and then I'm gonna set it on the drug paraphernalia at $500, so that's $750 total. I'm gonna set these in court on Tuesday, that's November 15th, so that if you are unable to post those bonds, the judge can consider reducing them at that time. If you do post them, they'll give you a different court date to go to when you're being released. Go to that one instead. And then let's see what I can do for an attorney. It looks like you are currently represented by the District Public Defender's Office. And I will appoint them to represent you in this
Charles
case
just
as
baits
well.
me like that.
I have a number of the Public Defender's Office to jail. Try and get a hold of them prior to your court date, which is going to be on Tuesday, and I'm going to waive the administrative fee that we normally assess for the appointment of counsel. And that's all I have for you.
Thank you.
Agent Fabulous is doing it right. She's living her best life. Love it.
That's the Goon Squad. You want me to see that? Goon Squad.
What's your name?
Trevor Cullum.
What'd you say? I didn't hear you.
Sir.
What'd you say?
Trevor Cullum.
Robert.
Cullum.
Gotcha.
He's got marbles in his mouth. Okay. Call him.
I need to move back.
Mr. Cullum, you have been charged with 2 counts of simple possession of casual exchange. That'd be a Class A misdemeanor if convicted. You've also been charged with simple possession or casual exchange of methamphetamine. That'd be a Class A misdemeanor if convicted. So it's 3 A misdemeanors. Simple possession of various controlled substances, what they're accusing you of. You understand what you're charged with?
I'm sure I know I was on a violation of probation. One of them, some of them charges, I don't know what I'm in here for right now because
I just
I
told you.
wasn't.
I just told
Now I know
you.
some of my charges, what I was on probation for. I do have an open.
Pay
VOP.
attention, dummy.
That might
Or
be
some
true.
of the-
That's in a different court. These are new charges. They're 3 counts of simple possession.
Oh, okay.
Would you like to read
Oh.
allegations?
Yes, sir.
It says this incident occurred on or about Thursday, November 10th, 2022 at 10:38 p.m. at 317 North Cedar Bluff. On that date, time, and location, I, Officer Fisher, was patrolling through the parking lot of the Oyo Hotel. This location is a known hot spot for criminal and drug activity. I observed a black Dodge Challenger with Kentucky tag ALA 708 and a white Mercury sedan, Tennessee tag 236BGWJ. Both vehicles were backed into the parking spots, which is common for people who are engaged in criminal activity to prevent law enforcement from seeing their registration plates. Due to my knowledge and multiple interactions with people engaged in criminal and drug activity at this location, I made consensual encounter with both vehicles and occupants. Upon contact, I could smell a strong odor of marijuana emitting from the area of both vehicles. Officer Thoreau arrived on the scene while speaking with Valdez Goins, the arrestee, and Joshua Eskridge, the arrestee,
I love.
and Jason Booker, the arrestee. I instruct the occupants, 1 black male and 1 white female, the white
the
Mercury
facial
sedan,
expression,
step
like
over to me.
he can't
At
believe
this
these
time, the
charges.
black male that was in the white Mercury fled on foot and was shortly apprehended after being tased. That male was identified as Trevor Cullum. The female, Cornelia Norris, was found in possession of 5 blue fentanyl pressed pills. Cornelia advised that Trevor handed those to her. Upon seeing officers pulling up to her and told her officers will not check her, Canine Officer Bothoff arrived on the scene and deployed his canine partner Dolly to perform an open-air sniff on both vehicles, which she positively alerted. Officers located a pill bottle with 26 5-milligram hydrocodones and a clear bag containing marijuana weighing 2 grams in the center console. In the Black Dot Challenger, officers located 2 chocolate bars containing psilocybin mushrooms in them, a box that had legal documents with Valdez Goins' name on it. There was also marijuana shake all throughout the floorboard and driver's seat of the Challenger and a digital scale located in the vehicle as well. Valdez was in possession of $2,460 in U.S. currency, which is in primarily small denominations. The U.S. currency Valdez was in possession of was seized due to himself believing it is proceeds obtained through the sales of illegal narcotics and due to the fact he stated that he did not have a job to provide a source of income. A record check showed Valdez to have a history of drug-related arrests. It also revealed Trevor Cullum to have multiple outstanding failure to appears out of Knox County. The narcotics were placed in the narcotics locker. Citation was not issued because the individual has outstanding arrest warrants. All right, if you cannot afford an attorney, I can appoint one. Would you like me to do that?
Yes, sir. Is there any kind of way that I can get,
Hit that one again.
Release?
John Boucher?
We'll look at that. All right, I need to ask you some questions on oath. Make sure you qualify for a court-appointed attorney to set your bond, so you raise your right hand and be sworn in. This is the uniform affidavit of indigency that you filled out at the jail. You swear or affirm that everything you filled out on this form, any testimony you give is true and accurate.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Do you have a job?
No, sir.
Any property, house, or car that you own?
No, sir.
Any other forms of income or of assets?
Hit the ball. Hit the all.
You live in Knoxville?
Yes, sir.
How long you lived here?
I've been here all my life.
It's got water.
You have family here?
Yeah, my mother, brothers, nieces, nephews.
Push it.
Yeah, without getting into further detail, there were drugs involved that people were.
It's a cold.
I mean, what's going on here?
Yeah, without getting into further detail, there were drugs.
I'm gonna set the bond at $750. I didn't read anything about methamphetamine, so I'm just gonna ROR that one. So it's 1,500 total. And I'm gonna set this in misdemeanor court on Tuesday. That's November 15th.
Yeah, we're not sure about that
you're
meth
unable to
charge.
post those bonds, the judge can consider reducing them at that time. If you do post them, they will give you a different court date to go to when you're being released. Go to that one instead. And as soon as that's done printing, I'll get you an attorney. I don't think you'll be able to bond out though because of that the things you were talking about at a criminal court, even if you post those bonds. By the way, I did see something. I don't know if it's denied, but I think it is. So it looks like you are represented by an attorney named Dylan Zinser.
Yes, sir. I can't. I ain't been able. He the reason why I got that violation, sir. I ain't talked to that man since I've been out. I ain't talked to him. The bond.
Oh, yeah, it's the attorney's fault.
I've been on bond. I've been on bond too, and me and the bondsman been.
It has nothing to do with being caught with a pile of drugs.
No help.
It's his attorney's
Okay,
fault.
so that might be true, but if he's on your other case, I'm gonna have to put him on here, and so you'll have to get him removed by the judges. They'll have to remove him from all cases. Is what they'll have to do when you go to court on Tuesday. But for now, I'm going to put him on these, and I'm going to waive the administrative fee because it's already been assessed in that other case. Mr. Zinser's telephone number is 450-3333. Try and get a hold of him prior to your court date, which again is going to be Tuesday. Basically, they'll have to just remove him from all cases or none. But that's a big mess that if I do it from here instead of upstairs.
Seriously. How's he supposed to pay for all this stuff if you take his stock and his cash? Well, yeah, then he fell hard. He fell hard at that point.
Hubbard. I want Hubbard.
He could have gone with this.
You didn't say the cat jumped on his wiener, did you?
That would have been a little better.
You got one?
Or my all-time favorite Bond fail.
25,000.
That's so dumb.
I know, it's ridiculous, isn't it? It's stupid.
Yeah, copy is 25.
David Hubbard.
Okay, Mr. Hubbard, you have been charged with aggravated burglary. That would be a Class C felony if convicted. You understand what you're charged with?
Don't really understand. I mean, I understand like it's like what is burglary like a it's like a robbery or something?
No,
Yeah.
burglary is entering a building with intent for committing a theft, assault, or felony. And so
Okay.
aggravated burglary is
It's
if
like
that
theft
building
plus.
happens to be a habitation. Would you like me to read the allegations?
Yeah.
It says this incident occurred on or about Thursday, November 10th, 2022 at 4:08 a.m. at 1521 Daylily Drive, apartment 349, Knoxville, Tennessee 37920. On that date, time, and location, Officer
I mean,
Carlos
if he
responded to
doesn't
a
know what it
burglary
is,
residential at 1521 Daylily
you can't
Drive,
charge
number
him with it.
349. Upon arrival, I observed the defendant John Doe, aka David Storm Hubbard. Defendant John Doe sitting on the
Didn't he?
victim, Mr. and Mrs. Jonathan and Autumn's Young front porch. The victims, Jonathan and Autumn Young, stated they were upstairs in bed, asleep, when they were woke by a strange white man standing over them in bed. The victims stated the defendant
You
had
would
their
be
car
that strange
keys
white
and
man
drinking a Dr. Pepper from their
that they're
refrigerator.
referring to.
The victim, Mr. Young, was able to get the defendant out of the apartment and sat down on the front porch. The victim stated the defendant said the office sent him to the apartment. There was no forced entry into the apartment. The victim stated the defendant was going from apartment to apartment, knocking on doors and shaking the door. The defendant was holding the cigarette lighter and smoking a cigarette. Upon search of his person, I pulled a full pack of the victim's cigarettes from his front left pocket. I was able to retrieve all items and return them to the victims. The defendant also broke the broke the victim's vase while in the apartment. The defendant admitted to taking all the items but was unable to properly identify himself. He did not know his address, phone number, or social security number. The victims stated they would prosecute. The defendant was taken into custody without incident. This occurred in Knox County, Tennessee. All right, you have some rights I need to go over. The first is that you have the right to remain silent.
And he
No one can
wasn't
force you to
sure.
make any statements, and that you make voluntarily can be used against you.
He wasn't sure if the state
You have the
charged that
to an
right.
attorney. If you cannot afford one, I will appoint one for you, and you have the right to a preliminary hearing. That is a probable cause hearing where the judge will hear the evidence against you and decide whether this case is strong enough to be bound over the grand jury for further prosecution. You understand those rights?
Yep.
Would you like me to appoint an attorney?
I guess I need a public defender. Am I gonna be able to like get like a ROR by chance or anything, or?
No, I'm asking you if you want me to appoint an attorney, though.
Yeah, I need a public defender, I guess.
Okay, I need to ask you some questions on oath. Make sure you qualify and set your bond. So you raise your right hand and be sworn in. This is the uniform affidavit of indigency that you filled out of the jail. You swear or affirm that everything you filled out on this form, a testimony you give is true and accurate.
Yes.
Thank you. You have a job.
I did have. I don't know if I have anymore.
Where at?
It was in Morristown.
Doing what?
Cooking at Chili's.
How much were you making?
I was making $16.50.
How long did you work there?
It's probably been about a year.
40 hours.
I was getting 40. I think it got cut like part time. So I think it got down to like 15 or 20 max.
Okay. Any property, house, or car that you own?
Oh, thank
Any
you.
other forms of income or of assets?
No.
You live in Knoxville?
No, I don't live in Knoxville. I'd actually came down here and yeah, I was just drinking and visiting some friends and stuff, and
And burglarizing,
I live in Morristown.
smoking, that stuff.
And is
I would
there
like to know
anybody
what
that
it-
vouch
what-
for your liability to show up in court? You have family here? Let me ask you that.
I have family here, but
Who is it?
My sister, she lives in Knoxville. But my wife is actually the one I need to talk to. My 2-month-old daughter, she's supposed to have surgery.
Oh, good Lord.
And I need to
He's
try to
married
figure
with
out what
kids.
I can do to be able to be there for that surgery.
I don't know, but we need to stay on task here. So what family do you have here?
My sister lives in Knoxville.
And is there anybody that vouch for your liability to show up in court?
I don't know. I don't know her number. I don't. That's why I said my wife. I mean, I was trying to stay on track. She could probably show up to court, but I would have to get a hold of her and stuff. But I haven't. I've been here. I don't know how long, and haven't gotten a phone call or anything. So I've not been able to reach out to her. I don't know if she knows or so on and so forth.
Okay. Well, I'm going to set the bond at $5,000 with
Knox
condition of bond. She
is
can
really
post it
inconveniencing
if
this
you have
guy.
any contact and communication with alleged victim, and that is listed as 2 people, Jonathan Young.
He,
and
he was just having a cocktail and a burgle.
And I'm going to set this in felony court on Tuesday. That is for a bond review. So if you are unable to post that bond, the judge can consider reducing at that time. If you do post it, they will give you a different court date to go to when you're being released. Go to that one instead. I'm going to appoint the district public defender to represent you. There is a $50 fee for the appointment of counsel. That needs to be paid in general session court clerk's office on or before November 25th. If you're unable to pay by that time, they'll add your court costs, including your case. And they have the number of the public defender's office of jail. Try and get a hold of them prior to your court date, which if you don't post the bond will be on Tuesday, November 15th. And that's all I have for you. And I don't know about your daughter's surgery. You'll have to discuss that with an attorney, see what kind of arrangements they'll have to make if you can't bond out.
Is there anything, or there's no way at all, like I could maybe get like a lower bond or by chance,
I'll have to deal with that on Tuesday. For now, I set it at 5,000 though.
5,000 is my bond right now.
Correct.
And aggravated burglary is where you just supposedly go in someone's house and you don't steal nothing, you don't do nothing, you just go in the house.
No, aggravated burglary is going in with intent or committing a theft, assault, or felony.
Okay, so I'm not too sure about this, but if there was no theft or nothing, right? And
So you'll have if you want to contest that, you'll have a hearing, okay, and or a trial.
okay, so
So if you want to argue your case, you would have to do that.
yeah, I mean, definitely, because I didn't take anything, and I was supposed to be there,
Oh,
and I was told
this
to be
is
there.
this is all stuff to say for a hearing or a trial. Right now, it's an arraignment.
Uh,
All righty, that's all for you.
I appreciate it, man. For what?
I'm gonna need to hear.
I mean, I think he just tied one on and he was just checking all the doors. He's just going to burglarize whatever. You know, he's having a cigarette. It was a casual burglary.
What's your name?
Did break a vase.
Mr. Hopkins, you've been charged criminal trespass. That'd be a Class C misdemeanor if convicted. You understand what you're charged with?
No, actually, I was up in the parking garage waiting on my cousin. She was supposed to be bringing me some clothes. And
You understand what trespass is?
Huh?
You know what trespass is?
Yeah, I know what a trespass is, but I
Okay,
don't
so
understand.
you
I
do
don't
understand.
understand why I was trespassed.
So
I don't
let me talk.
understand why I was
All right, you
trespassed.
can stop talking or you can come back later.
I'll come back later because I don't understand why I
Okay,
was
officer,
trespassed.
can you bring him back later when he's
Yeah, I'll
ready
come
to
back.
listen?
Thank you. I'll stay here for 10 years before I
Well, that was some kind of stupid. He just can't shut his hole. He'd probably be out. But no, he's got to overtalk the judge. Oh, Lord. That definitely deserves one of these. Okay, let's see if our next contestant can shut his hole.
What's your name?
Clevenger.
All right, Mr. Clevenger, you've been charged with DUI. That would be a Class A misdemeanor if convicted, and you've also been charged with an implied consent violation. That's not providing a blood sample or a breath sample upon request, or when you have a DUI conviction. It's the implied consent law. You understand what's going on? That's actually, it's not even a crime. They just suspend your license. I don't know if they call it suspended or revoked, but one of the two if you get convicted. You understand what's going on, what you're charged with?
Yes, sir.
Would you like me to read the allegations?
Yes, sir, please.
Okay. Says this incident occurred on or about November 10th, 2022 at 3:30 p.m. at 8445 Walbrook Drive. I, Officer Ferreras, responded to a driving under the influence at Walmart located at 8445 Walbrook Drive. The complainant stated that he witnessed the defendant driving all over the road, striking a mailbox and driving in and out of the lane and parking his white Ford F-250 in the Walmart parking lot. Upon contact, I observed the defendant sitting in the vehicle's driver's seat with keys in the ignition. I observed an open container of a 200 milliliter fireball in the driver's side floorboard. The defendant stated that he was coming from Maryville and going to his friend's house somewhere in Concord.
Oh, he's too old to be drinking Fireball.
To step outside the vehicle, and I observed that the defendant was unsteady on his feet.
That's embarrassing.
Had watery red,
Should be an
bloodshot
enhancement.
eyes and slurred speech, and I had to assist him towards my patrol car. The defendant was Mirandized and stated that he had consumed 3 bottles of 200 milliliter of Fireball whiskey approximately 3 hours ago. The defendant refused to conduct a field sobriety test at this time. The defendant stated that he was tired and parked at this location to rest. Based on the totality of circumstances and statements of the witness, the defendant was taken into custody at this time.
That's the judge talking. He's tired.
And refused. Jim's, I think that's Jim's record, towed the said vehicle to the impound lot. The defendant was advised and given a tow ticket. This occurred in Knox County, Tennessee.
Touche.
All right, if you cannot
Touche.
afford an attorney, I can appoint one for you. Would you like me to do that?
No, sir, I can afford an attorney.
Okay, I asked you
Your
some
Honor.
questions on oath. Set your bond, so you raise your right hand and be sworn in. You swear
If you would-
tell the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. You have a job
I'd sooner drink
Yes, sir, I'm
Malort.
self-employed.
and
I'm
I can drink
sales and
Fireball.
Delivery business.
How much
Tow
did you make?
trailers. It depends on the sales for that month. I mean, it's not a set income. And if you would go ahead and release me today, I'm headed to True Purpose Ministries. If I could get an ROR, the house director was gonna pick me up.
that might be true, but you have a DUI pending, so I'm required by law to set it at least at double the ordinary bond for DUI. So I have to set some bond. Okay, and any property, house, or car that you own?
Sir?
Any property, house, or car that you own?
Yes,
What is that?
the F-250, which I've got.
Well,
to
I
go get
believe
out
I'm being
anytime.
mocked.
What do you think it's worth?
It's worth about $7,800,
What year is it?
2004.
That's what I'm saying.
It's 75.
That's what I'm saying.
Yes, sir.
Or you said 7,800, didn't you?
75.
Okay. You owe anything on it?
No, sir.
Any other forms of income or assets?
No, sir. That's it.
You live in Knoxville?
No, sir. I live in Maryville.
You have family here in Maryville? Maryville's close enough.
No, sir. Just my church family.
Okay. Well, is there anybody that vouched for
This is
liability
what?
show up in court?
Yes.
Who would that be?
That would be the program director at True Purpose Ministries, Jeremy Graham.
Okay, I'm gonna set the bond on the DUI at $1,000. As a condition of that bond, should you post it, you'd be prohibited from drinking alcohol or taking or possessing drugs unless lawfully prescribed. You'd be required to drive only vehicles that have ignition interlock devices installed, and you be prohibited from violating local, state, or federal law as a condition of bond. So in addition to being charged, you'd have your bond violated. You'd be picked up on this one as well. And you'd be prohibited from changing your mailing address or residence without prior written notice to Knox County Sessions Court Clerk's Office, which they'll give you information to do that if and when you bond out. I'm going to set this in DUI court for a bond review on Tuesday, so that if you are unable to post this bond, the judge can consider reducing at that time. If you do post
Do I
it,
even
they'll
ask?
give you a different court date to go to when you're being released. Go to that one instead. And that's all I have for you.
All right. Thank you.
Have you ever considered stopping drinking? Just a thought.
Mhm. Okay, I'm assuming that's a yes. Okay.
Should be a matter.
We probably can. Oh, I was going to try to squeeze a thruple in, but no such luck. Who, the last guy?
See, I'm going to use Miss Fowler's word. She now is in a throuple. And not only does she choose to be in a throuple, and she's shacked up in the bed with the throuple. Now, if anybody thinks...
For AG.
Mr. Agee, you have a fugitive from justice warrant, which means that another state has indicated that they have a warrant for your arrest and that they would like us
Whoops.
to hold you so they can
This
have
is
an
interesting.
opportunity to come pick you up on that arrest. And specifically, that state is Virginia. And they say they have a warrant for threat to burn or bomb probation violations. And bond is to be set, if at all, on this by a sessions judge, so it's effectively denied until you go to court. You won't be able to bond out. You've also been charged with criminal impersonation. That'd be a Class B misdemeanor, convicted, and you're ROR'd on that. And you've been charged with simple possession of casual exchange of methamphetamine. You're also ROR'd on that. So
Criminal
no one's holding you in jail.
impersonation.
The only thing holding you is that fugitive from justice warrant. You understand what's going on?
Yes, sir.
Would you like me to read the allegations?
No, sir.
Okay. Well, if you cannot afford an attorney, I can appoint one. Would you like me to do that?
Yes.
Okay, I'd ask you some questions on oath, make sure you qualify. So will you raise your right hand and be sworn in? This is the uniform affidavit of indigency that you filled out of jail. You swear or affirm that everything you filled out on this form, a testimony you give is true and accurate?
Yes.
Thank you. You have a job,
No, sir.
in property, house, or car that you own?
No, sir.
Any other forms of income or of assets?
No.
This guy doesn't belong here. He can act normal and respond to questions. If he could just apply that to life, he could have avoided all this.
Just since yesterday or the day before.
Daylight, if you're gonna start introducing, this sort of thing into the discussion, we're gonna have problems.
Okay.
That's an irrational answer to my question.
I'm going to appoint the district public defender to represent you. There is a $50 fee for the appointment of counsel. That needs to be paid in general session court clerk's office on or before November 25th. If you're unable to pay by that time, they'll add your court costs and close the case. They have the number of the public defender's office in jail. Try and get a hold of them prior to your court date, which I'm going to set in felony court. You don't have any felonies. It goes into felony court because of that fugitive from justice. I'm going to set it in felony court on Tuesday. And that's all I have for you.
I'm going to give credit where credit's due. That guy committed some crimes, I'm guessing. But he could get through a court appearance like a rational adult. I give him 2 points for it. I really do.
Hey,
Here we go.
So, what's your name?
Dominique Wilson.
All right, Mr. Wilson, you have been charged with
Ooh,
aggravated robbery. That'd be a Class B felony if convicted. And you've
I'm feeling the
also been
attitudinal vibe coming off this one.
Emergency calls. That'd be a Class A misdemeanor if convicted. You understand what you're charged with?
No, I don't. That's my question. My concern is what the police want reads, because I went to probation yesterday where I got arrested, and then the night before that, the police officers, they pulled me over at the Food City, and I didn't even have any warrants. I don't know nothing about this robbery. I would like to read who called in on it, who reported it. I want to
can't
know
tell you
where
what
it came
that.
from.
I can only tell you what the warrant has.
But can you not tell me where the robbery happened?
That's in the warrant. I'll read it.
Please, thank you.
Says this incident occurred on or about Sunday, October 9th, 2022 at 11:49 p.m. at Wilson Avenue at Ben-Hur Avenue. On that date, time, and location, the officer who swore out the warrant, responded to a domestic disturbance at Wilson Avenue at Ben-Hur. Upon arrival, contact was made with the victim, who stated she was robbed and assaulted by her boyfriend, the suspect. The victim stated that she left her home in Walter P. and was walking eastbound down Wilson Avenue when she heard the suspect begin to speak her name. The victim was afraid that he was stalking her, and she dialed 911. While on the phone with 911, she pulled out her knife in self-defense because she was scared of the suspect. The suspect then charged at her and wrestled her for the knife, at which point he bit her thumb, causing injury. Afternoon observed a laceration to her thumb consistent with a bite. The suspect was able to gain control of the knife and stated, "Bitch, I will kill you," before grabbing her phone while she was still on a call with 911. The suspect then fled the scene with the victim's knife and phone. The victim stated that when the suspect gained control of the knife, she was in immediate fear for her life and that he was going to kill her. The victim valued her Samsung cell phone at $200 and her knife at $50. This occurred in Knoxville County, Tennessee.
Okay, this is a false report or somebody got the wrong name because
Excuse me.
Either said a different name than the beginning of this report.
All right, officer, bring him back when he's ready to cooperate. He's not cooperating.
He said he had this though. He said a whole different name in the report.
He's the last one I have.
Right. This is an arraignment, not a hearing.
Was that it? Well, that surprised me. Okay, so he's saying it isn't me. He's pulling the Shaggy defense. Although he kind of screwed it up because as he was reading it, he's like he was like listening to it like, yeah, it sounds about right. And then afterwards, he's like, no, you said the wrong name. You said the wrong name. I got you. You said the wrong name. Well, if it's the wrong name, they'll sort it out, but not there. He's in there today. They have him. They arraigned him. I mean, unless it's literally the wrong name, they can verify that against his prisoner ID. But that versus the charge, whatever. Oh, that's interesting. And then they just shut down us. They didn't even bring the other guy back. I want to see the other guy come back. Ah, that's all right. That's all right. You know what? I actually have a deposition in 15 minutes. I have a deposition, and the most annoying part of that deposition is I'm gonna have to put a shirt on. But it's, that's the difficult life of an attorney. That's just how it works. Thank you all for coming out. It started slow, lots of gaps in between, but it doesn't take long. You can rely on Knox. Some characters are going to come out. Some characters are going to come out and do some entertaining stuff. And boy, did they. Thank you all. I will see you soon.